Now, given that The Mandalorian Season 3 is now out on Disney Plus and a thing of the past, a lot of Star Wars fans are really looking forward to and anticipating the Ahsoka Tano series, which, by the way, will be debuting by this August. They're going to begin heavily marketing the show by this June, so get prepared for that. John and Dave are really trying to raise the bar when it comes to Star Wars, specifically with this new show. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future Star Wars updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. Now, we know that Lucasfilm, over the past couple of years, especially by Disney specifically, they've been making a lot of right and wrong decisions when it comes to Star Wars. It's been an emotional roller coaster, a very, inconsistent wave of Star Wars projects as far as, positive feedback goes, right? Now, when we know that everything related to Kathleen Kennedy and what she has been involved in has not really gotten the best fan reception, especially when you look at the sequel trilogy as a starting point, there's one thing in particular that creators are beginning to actually develop as we speak in order to remake and or refilm many different aspects of the original trilogy movies. That's going to be a very big deal for a specific Star Wars installment for the near future. We'll be tapping into every single detail about what's really going on here. Should fans be worried? Should fans be relaxed over this? And fans may very well love and hate this about what is brewing behind the scenes for a new Star Wars project dubbed Blue Point. So with that being put out there and said, we know that Lucasfilm has had this plan for several months now to essentially reframe the original trilogy, to refilm different aspects of those movies, specifically A New Hope and Return of the Jedi. Now, on top of this, with Disney and Lucasfilm now moving ahead with developing several Star Wars shows at once, one of which that is currently dubbed Project Blue Point is set to do something that fans may have come to love and or hate for the brand. A big plan that is being put together by both George Lucas, Tony Gilroy, Dave Filoni, and yes, even Jon Favreau, is a plan to refilm and remake several sequences directly from A New Hope and Return of the Jedi as a way to remake the original trilogy in a very unique way. It is now finally moving forward and is happening as they intend to release this show by 2026 on Disney Plus that is going to completely remake the Battle of Yavin and Endor, as well as the fight between Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker in shocking ways for the audience. All the creators involved are very well aware that this is going to be a risky decision to make, however they all want to modernize these scenes from the original trilogy that will also provide new meaning to the audience. Now let me just pause here quickly for 1 second before I get to the next big bit, is that I have a lot of faith in this, even though I may not fully agree with this approach that things should be left alone and just, never touched or altered. I can maybe see where George, John, Tony, and Dave are coming from, is that they want to modernize the specific big moments in A New Hope and Return of the Jedi to create a lot of entertainment value in Blue Point and to do something very fun. Again, this new project Blue Point is said to basically be based on Rogue Squadron, those old video games, right? Kind of focusing mainly on space battles with the addition of land battles as well, is what they want to do. This is basically going to be their vision of kind of taking the aspects of a mission-by-mission basis and throwing that into live-action adaptations of this particular project. So it's going to be considered, yes, an anthology series, where each episode is going to be a different battle or a different conflict that will connect to other conflicts. And many of which are going to mimic that, of course, or be a remake of either the Battle of Yavin or the Battle of Endor in several different ways. And I think that this is going to be very interesting because it's not just going to be about the original trilogy scenes that are being remade, we're also going to get new stuff that we have never seen before as far as battles go. And if you guys are big fans of space battles and land battles, this is what the show is going to be strictly about. I'm starting to wonder if this overall idea and approach came from Patty Jenkins' Rogue Squadron and how these creators are kind of making it into just something better and more superior, It's possible, because we do know that Rogue Squadron, that was really put on the back burner, as Kathleen Kennedy likes to say, but it was really cancelled, let's be honest. That was going to be a post-Episode 9 film as well. But this one in particular is going to be based within the original trilogy movies. That's basically what they are using right now as a launch pad to attract the audience. But moving on to the next big thing here, alright? This is where I think a lot of fans may love or hate this, is because they are going to be remaking things like the Trench Run, the Vader and Luke Skywalker duel, stuff around those lines. Elements from the Battlefront video game will actually be a big influence on the Death Star destruction, and how it's also going to play a large role in the development of remaking aspects of the original trilogy while also extending those scenes. Additionally, Lucas will be overseeing every single shot that will be redone for the original trilogy, that will be retold in Blue Point as a series that is mainly going to focus on space battles and land battles, with a special appearance of Vader and Luke fighting each other again from another character's perspective that will fill in the gaps when in the originals it cuts away from Luke and Vader. This was a pitch first made by both Lucas and Favreau that Bob Iger actually views as a great way to give the original trilogy the Rogue One treatment, cinematically speaking, for the audience to see. Kathleen Kennedy, however, will have zero involvement in this project, which is going to be reassuring to the fandom without a doubt as well. Enhanced John Williams scores will also be used for the various scenes that will be remade with these creators. Now again, to really elaborate and make things clear here, is that this isn't necessarily remaking all the movies like how you think it is. This is basically just taking key moments, key scenes from the original trilogy and literally remaking them, repurposing them, and modernizing them, while also at the same exact time extending them. So it's a mixture of many of those different things. Now, do I think that this is necessary? Probably not, let's be honest, but do I think that this is entertaining? Absolutely. Am I gonna love this? Well, that depends on the execution. You know, I have full faith in this because you got Tony Gilroy involved and his vision of Rogue One, and how this is basically going to Rogue One-ize the original trilogy moments, and you have George Lucas overseeing every single shot that will be made. He's basically going to be directing the scenes for Project Blue Point that will remake the fan favorite moments of the original trilogy films. So yeah, I mean, this is a big deal. This is something that I do believe fans are either going to love and or hate and have problems with, or are going to be full in support of it. And Project Blue Point is something that really does hold a very big opportunity to open a gateway of more space battle, installments that could really expand other aspects, of already established lore, like in the prequel trilogy, for example. They could really riff off of that a little bit if they wanted to, but overall, guys, I would love to hear what your take is on this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys next time.